Hi, everyone. I am going to have a weird voice today, but I hope it's not going to prevent us from very important discussion. And discussion today is mindful parenting. What is this, right? Like everybody is probably curious. What is this? And parenting is hard enough on its own. And when you hear, well, you need to be a mindful parent, how many of you want to say three words, two words? Um, so it's not easy to be a parent, and it's not easy to be a mindful parent, but it's easy and it's not easy at the same time. But once you grasp the concept of what is this to be a mindful parent, you will find it very easy, very rewarding, and it doesn't take much from you. It doesn't take much from your children or a child, and it actually brings you some sort of satisfaction feelings and ease, because I feel like being a parent, being a correct parent, we need to have ease. Animals, if you look at animals, they are parenting there because they're also parents. They also have little offsprings. And if you look at animals, everything is natural for them, right? All kind of parenting. And you look at offsprings are basically doing correct things, and moms and dads are not stressed out. They are basically going around, and they're just doing their thing, and offsprings are following, right? So if we're looking at animals and we see that everything is so easy, why it's so hard for us human being? It shouldn't be like this. Um, and we will talk about this later, why it is that it's hard for us, for humans, because right now I want to explore more what is it mindful parenting and how to make parenting a mindful and be easy. Um, I don't know if you can hear or not, but right now I have one of my offsprings yelling, which it also happens. And I'm going to be a mindful parent after all as well. But let's go back to our mindful parenting and um, um, and talk about it. You may want to ask me, what is this, the mindful parenting, and why we're talking about this at all? Um, children and parents, they are in this together. It's not like children came to our life to make our life, like harder, or we in children's life to make their life harder. No, it's actually the opposite. We brought children today in this life because we wanted them to be here with us for whatever reason. Many of you brought children because they wanted. Many of you had a discussion with your partners. Um, what are we going to do and how are we going to get pregnant, right? Some of you were struggling to get pregnant. Some of you got it very easy. I guess I kind of feel like nowadays it's pretty few who all of a sudden have, oops, I am pregnant reaction. Less and less so. More people, they make a conscious effort to get pregnant, which brings me again to, once it's mindful effort to bring a child here, then we need to be mindful parents. what are those things that we as a parents can we as a parent we can do for our children to be mindful and bring a concepts or introduce a certain concepts for children that are not familiar for them yet will be familiar in the future and will help them to navigate through their life if they will get grasp on it at certain age. So one of the things that one of my favorite, I guess, and it's very easy for a lot of people because somehow many parents they think that, well, it's my child, I'm just going to, like go in their room and, like ask a question or do something. No, your children is their own people. They have their own thinking, they have their own perception, they have their own vision of things. They may have their own path, okay, their own perception of their own path without you telling them that, well, you need to play basketball because I wanted to play basketball when I was your age. And the child may not wanting to do it. So knocking on their doors since they're very little, since they're very, very like tiny babies, knock on the door before you come in. And it teaches them that there is a privacy, their privacy, and you are willing to ask if you can come in. So it's not like it's you're building their boundaries from the very early age. You allow them to understand that they are safe in wherever it might be their room or it might be their house or something else. You allow them to have their own space. You teach them that you're not storm into their place and you're not violating their place. So your children are growing up with a concept of personal space and security, which is very important because I see a lot of children very insecure. And adults, a lot of adults, they are very insecure because no one taught them, like that security feeling, because security is not something that we just got it. No, we don't get it. It's taught. It's either self-taught or taught by our parents. And a lot of parents, they are struggling with the concept um, of security for themselves, so they actually cannot pass any concept of security to their children. And parents are responsible for themselves, for their life, to learn what is it and how to make themselves secure. And this is a different topic and this is a different situation, and it also can be taught, can be learned by their parents and pass on once the parents learn. But I'm talking about what if parents do know what is it security concepts. So knocking in the door, one of the very, very little things that you can start doing when your child is very little, to introduce the concept of security and their own space that will help them navigate through their life and not struggle with this when they grow. Another concept of, we all talk about honesty and a child being honest, and that it's very important, and it becomes very important when children grow up and when they become adolescent, because a lot of people, they cannot trust their children. And guess what? Trust is built when they're little. Trust, unfortunately, very hard to build when they're already adolescent. It builds usually between 3 and 5. So, and unfortunately, a lot of people, they are missing this window of this trust. And And knocking, by the way, and not storming into a child's room is another little part of trust. But by the way, the benefit of you knocking and in a child's room is going to be that the child is never going to storm into your room. They're always going to knock, always. It's going to be innate in them. And honestly, it's first of all, it's the most cutest thing when your child is knocking on your door. And another thing, when you hear your child, like in the middle of the night, like knocking in your door, it's it's so beneficial because you understand that you're doing something really good. And I will strongly recommend you to start doing this. um, it does require a lot of time and effort on your part. It required only being mindful, but it does pay forward hugely. So another thing is that you need to make sure that a child feeling very comfortable to share with you. For instance, I always tell my children since they were very little that, guys, you never are going to get in trouble if you're telling me the truth. You're always going to get in trouble if you're lying. And I kept repeating that constantly to them at certain age, constantly. Like I was telling them. And at some point, I remember myself, I was curious, like, do they even understand what is it that I'm saying? And is it worth it telling them this? And am I abusing my own power? And guess what? No, I didn't. And they did realize, and they took exactly what they had to take from it, and they learned from it. And I don't have to worry about this, because I know that if, first of all, I know that they're telling me the truth. And I also know that if they don't want to tell me the truth at that very moment, I need to back off, because there will be a moment when they come to me and they will tell me the truth. And this is another third thing that you need to learn. Back off at a specific time. Don't follow your child. Tell me what happened. Tell me what happened. Tell me. At some point, your child will be like, gosh, no, I don't want to tell, because it's intrusive. You intrude the child's territory. And you need to understand that the most important part between you and the child, you need to be a friend. You need to observe your child. You need to make sure that your child understands that you are there for your child, that you are standing, that you are listening, that you're looking at a child, you're observing the child. Listen to what your child tells you. Listen, listen what the child asks you. For instance, mommy, can I have pasta for dinner? And even if you prepared, if you were served not pasta but something else, you can still serve wherever you wanted to serve your child. But then when the time comes, you tell a child, I heard you what you asked me earlier, but today I was planning that type of food. So we will be having what you wanted earlier, but not today, but tomorrow. I promise we're going to have whatever you asked me to. So that way you show your child that you're here, you remember. Your child is seen and heard. So there is no conflict is building up. And this is what mindful parenting is. Mindful parenting is when you hear your child, when you attend his or her needs, when you're willing to give your child what they need, not what your needs are. You need to look, you need to start talking, speaking their language. If a child comes with a flower and tells a story, you need to listen to this story. You need to stop, and you need to listen, and you need to acknowledge, oh, yes, oh, really? Oh, this is what happened. But can you please next time don't bring these flowers because I want that flower to be on that tree, and I actually wanted that to be there. So, can we please just not do it next time? Your child will listen to you. Your child will be so happy to talk to you because your child will feel that you are with the child with this together. And this is what it's mindful parenting is. It's part of the life. You don't need to be a you don't need to choose, like, well, I need to, like, yell at a child, I need to do this, I need to do that. No, you need to listen to your child. You need to look at your child and think, what is this that I can give my child at this very moment that my child needs? We don't need to break our children. We don't need to make it harder. It's some sort of a little dance between us, parents, and them, children. We need to bring listening part to our lives. It's very important. And parenting is not hard. The problem is that um, we forgot about parenting, and it's not because we want to forget. It's because we got bombarded so much with social media. We got bombarded with some sort of rules, with a lot of books. A lot of people, they want to tell us what is this to be a parent. But we need to just we need to just listen ourselves and look at our children, and that's it. It's very interesting. Try it, guys, because you and your children are unique. And if you get tuned into your children, into your family needs, you will find how easy it is. And thank you for being with me today. And if you have questions, please ask. I would be happy to answer. And hopefully, you will find the rewarding part of a parenting and not struggling with being a parent. Have a good day, and I'll see you later. Thank you, guys.